All right, so don't forget, guys, like when you do your notes, if you didn't have a notebook on Friday, make sure you put the title and the date at the top of your notebook page, on the top of the notebook, okay? 1.1, points, lines, and planes, and write August 14th or 8/14/23. So if you didn't have your notebook on Friday, make sure you get that written at the top. All right, so just a review. Remember, a point is simply one spot in space. It's represented with a dot, and it's always going to have a letter next to it so that we can name it. We write the word point and whatever the letter is, in this case point A, and then, or we can just write A there. Either one would be fine. A line, it's a straight line, has multiple points on it, and it goes on indefinitely in both directions. Okay. Remember, we can name a line with 2 points, or if we have a creeper letter, then we can name it with just the creeper letter. And we either, like with the creeper letter, we write the word line, then whatever the creeper letter is. Or if we have 2 points, we either write line and the 2 points, or we do the 2 points with the symbol. Remember, the symbol is just a little line with the arrows. Okay? And then the last one here was the plane. Remember, plane was like a flat surface that went on indefinitely or forever and ever. Okay? Like the floor we're sitting on is like a plane. We're all standing on the same plane. So basically, it'd be the same as like all these points are on this plane. And we either name it with one creeper letter, plane M, or with 3 actual points, plane A, B, C. And did we write down that these 3 points can't make a straight line? Did we say that? Y'all have that written down there? Okay. So you want to make note, if you don't, that these 3 points, like when you're naming it, the 3 points cannot make a straight line. Okay. And you don't have to draw this part, but it'd be basically like if I had like point D here and these 3 made a straight line, I couldn't say plane ADC. I'd have to say like plane ADB or plane CDB or DAB or whatever. Okay? You cannot say name it with 3 points making a straight line. Okay? And I'll explain that later on to show you why at a future date. Any questions on this one? So just write down the definitions here. We have points that lie on the same line, points that lie on the same plane. Your foldable should have the rest. All right, so the top one is called collinear points. Say the word collinear. Ready? Collinear. Okay? Those are points that lie on the same plane. Basically, when we look at it, we have points A, B, and C. They're all on the same line. That means they're collinear. See how point D is not on the line? It's not collinear with it. It's not on the same line. Okay? Pretty simple. And then the next one is coplanar. Say coplanar. Coplanar. Okay? Points that lie on the same plane. All right, so you got these 3 points, A, D, and C, A, C, and D, that are on the same plane. Is E on the plane? No, didn't buy a ticket. Okay, it's not on the plane. Why is P not a coplanar point? Because it doesn't have a dot. What do we call that letter? Creeper letter. Okay, so it can't be a coplanar point because it's not a point. It doesn't have the dot. Okay, so coplanar points are points A, B, and C. Any questions on that one? Okay. Line segment. So line segment has a line that consists of 2 endpoints. Basically, it's just from here to here. Okay? It doesn't go on forever and ever like a line. It has 2 spots that stops. It goes from this point to this point. It'd be like basically if I wanted to like put 2 points here on my podium, and I could say, hey, I'm going to measure from here to here. It has the ability to be measured. Okay? So from like A to B is an example. The way we write this when we name it is we say line segment, or honestly, if you just, as long as you write the word segment, I'm fine with that. So you can say segment, and then whatever the 2 points are. So segment AB, segment BA. Those are just like lines, you can flip them. Okay? If you want to use a symbol, just make sure it's just one little line on top. Next, we have array. It's part of a line segment that only has one endpoint, okay? So it's got an endpoint, and the other side's an arrow. Stops or starts at one point, and then goes on and on forever and ever in the other. What are some real life examples of array? What is something y'all can think of? Something that has it starts at somewhere and then it goes on forever in the other direction. The equator? That's almost probably more like a line. It just keeps going round and round. But good thought though. Anybody else? Something that has starts at one point and then goes on forever in the other? What's that big ball in the sky, yellow ball in the sky called? What do we call those that come off of it? All those little things. Huh? Sun rays. Okay? They're called sun rays because they start at the sun. And does light ever stop? No. It goes on forever and ever. Unless, of course, it hits something, right? But theoretically, it's going to go on and never stop. That's why it's called sun ray. Mind blown, right? Now you can go home and tell your mom and dad you learned something today. Okay. All right. So a ray, it starts at one point and goes on forever in the other. Now when you name it, you have to start the letters, have to be the one that's the starting one. So like on this one, see how A is our starting point? Make note of this. This is our starting point. So you can't switch these. You have to have the correct starting point. So on this one, it's A. And then just whatever other point it goes through. So B. So ray, A, B. You either write the word ray or you put the symbol. Symbol for ray is just a little arrow point to the right. Yes? Hang on a second. Let's finish this up. I'm not going to have everybody go right now. All right. Next one, ray BA. Starts at B. And then it goes through A. Ray BA. Any questions with that? Okay. Rays are like the only ones you can't switch the letters on. So remember that. Then the last one is opposite rays. And just quickly, it's just two rays that they have the same starting point and they go opposite directions. It'd be like if I got two of you up here and I put y'all back to back and then told each of y'all to walk opposite ways. Okay, you start at the same point, but you went opposite directions. So anytime, basically it'll have a line and you have at least 3 points. The easiest way to remember it, pick the middle point. What's the middle point here? C. So that's our starting point. And then I want to go to the left. What's the name of that ray going from starting in the middle and going left? CA. Okay. So ray CA. And then what is it going starting in the middle and going right? CB. So I would say ray CB and ray CA are opposite rays. Questions? So it says in example 1, name that plane. Then list any coplanar points. Okay. Does anybody remember what is the word I have to put in front when I'm naming a plane? Before I put the points, what's that word? Do y'all remember? Plane. Good. Okay. Whatever the object is we're naming is what you're going to put. If it's a point, put the word point. If it's a line, line. Ray, ray. Okay. Plane, plane. So we're going to write plane. And let's look for a creeper letter. Does this one have a creeper letter on it?
Yes.
Which one? And how many creeper letters do I use to name it? 1. Remember, 1 creeper is enough. You don't want any more. Okay. So I'm going to call this one plane M. Now I'm going to give you multiple ones for this, just so that you have multiple reference points to look at. If they only say give me one name, you only got to give me one name. You don't have to give me multiple. But if they say 2, obviously, just however many they want. So let's write our word again, plane. Does anybody remember how many points you used to name a plane? 3. Okay, so 3 points to name a plane. 1 creeper letter, but 3 of the points with the dots on it, right? Does anybody remember when naming a line, how many points? 2. Okay, so basically lines, rays, segments, all of that, all use 2 letters, 2 points. Planes are the only one that use 3. Okay, so if you can just remember that, creeper letters the only one you use 1 for. Lines, rays, and segments, 2. Planes, 3 points. Okay? I'm going to say that a lot because a lot of people, that's where they mess up. They just forget how many points to use. All right, so I need 3 points that do not make a straight line. So y'all give me 3 points. B, E, F. Does that work? Is that 3 points that don't make a straight line? Perfect. Somebody check, make sure it's not somebody trying to harm us. Yeah, so we'll use that one. So he said plane Z, F, B. Okay? And there's tons of different combinations we could do there. Okay? Now let me ask, could I do plane BFP? Why? P's not on the plane. Okay? Could I do anything that had point O in it? No, because O's not on it. Could I say ZFM? No, why? Because M's not is a creeper letter. You can't combine the creepers with the normal points. Okay. Now let me explain what's going on here. You see how we have 3 names for this plane? That's 3 different names, but they're all talking about the exact same plane. Okay. Let me give you another example of what that'd be like in real life. Okay. My name's Mr. Bodie, right? That's what y'all call me. My first name's Don. So there's people that call me Don. Same person, right? You call me Mr. Bodie, I'm going to answer. Those people call me Don, I'm going to answer. My family calls me Don Allen. Okay? So if they call me Don Allen, I'm going to answer. Those are 3 different names, right? All the same person, though. Okay? So it's just 3 different names for the same thing. Same thing here. I've got 3 different names for the exact same plane. Okay, so just think of it as nicknames. When they say give me different names, it's got to be, different than each other, but it's talking about the exact same object. Okay. Does that make sense? Hopefully a little bit. All right, my coplanar points. So coplanar points, remember, are points that lie on the same plane. And I think I forgot to mark it, but on coplanar points, remember, it's got this word plan in it. That lets me know that's almost like plane, right? So remember, if I'm talking about coplan or coplanar, it's got the word plan in it. Close to plane, we're talking about planes. Okay? So coplanar points all lie on the same plane. So tell me all the points that lie on the same plane. We're going to write the word points and list them all. B, E, F, Z. Why not O or P? Not on the same plane. Why not M? It's a creeper letter. Okay? So literally, when they say name coplanar points or collinear points, you just write points and list all the points. All right. This one says name that line, then list any collinear points. So let's start out with the creeper letter. What is the creeper letter here? L. What word do I put in front of L when I'm naming it if I'm talking about a line? Line. That's simple, right? It's a line. Write the word line. Line L. Do I put anything else with the creeper letter? No. It's on its own. Okay. Or let's do line. And how many points do I use to name a line? 2. Okay. Does it matter what 2 points on the line? Nope. Does it matter the order? Nope. Give me 2 points. I don't care which ones. P-O. First 2 I heard. Okay. Or let's do this one with a symbol. I need to have a different name though. So I need to have 2 other letters. What's 2 other letters? YP or YO, or you could even flip those and said OP. And remember, the symbol is just like that. All right, you don't have to write what I'm about to write, but just make sure you pay attention to it. If they want two different names, if I say line YP, or I put YP with a symbol, that's not two different names, okay? That's just like almost, it'd be like if I spelled your name two different ways. It's still the same, saying the same thing, right? That's just saying with the word line YP and the symbol YP. That's the same exact name. It'd be like if I said you called me Don and you spelled it D-O-N, or you called me Don and it's D-A-W-N. Okay? Same thing, like that's not two different names, okay? If they want two different names, you have to switch the letters around or pick two different letters or something like that. Make sense? All right, let's list the collinear points. So we're going to say points. And remember, collinear, in the word collinear, we have the word line. So we're talking about all the points that are on the same line. Tell me all the points that are on this line. Y, P, O. And Y is an L one? It's a creeper letter. Number 3, name that segment, then list any collinear points. Jennifer. Name that segment. What word do I put in front whenever I'm naming a line segment? Line segment or just segment. I'll take either one. Not going to hurt my feelings either way. So we're going to write the word, I'm just going to shorten it a little bit. I'm just going to say segment. And what 2 points do I use? OP. Just whatever the end points are, that's all you do. Or what's the other way I can name a segment? Well, that's not a different way of naming. I mean, I can do it that way, but that's not a different name. Give me a different name for it. PO. PO. And I am just going to use the line segment symbol. Just a straight line with no arrows. Okay. Then, real quick, name the collinear points. OP, PO, whatever, right? Okay. All right, name that ray. So, remember the ray, we have to start with a certain letter. What letter do we have to start with on this one? Q. This is our starting point. Make sure you note that. This is our starting point. And what word do I put in front when I'm naming these? Ray. And I do Q. It's my first one. Now, this one has more than one, but it doesn't matter. The only one that matters is the starting point. And then I can pick any other one it goes through. So give me Q and R. We'll do Q. I heard that first. R. Or what's the other name for it? Q what? QS. And this one I'm going to name with the symbol. I personally use nothing but symbols. That's easier to me than writing the word out every time. But whichever way you want to name it, it's fine with me. You could say Ray QS with the word, or you can say Ray QS with the symbol. Okay, they're both right. Name a pair of opposite rays. Which letter do I have to start with on when I'm doing the opposite rays? R. Why R? It's in the middle, right? It's the starting point. Good job, guys. Y'all doing awesome. Okay. So I'm going to do R. Let's go left. Which one is to the left? RQ and RS. There's my opposite race. Do this really quickly. All right, because you'll need this for your homework. Name 4 points. I don't care. It just says name 4 points. It doesn't say 4 points, anything special. It just says name 4. So give me 4 points. So points B, C, D, E. Is that correct? Yep. What 2 letters on there are not points? T and S. What do we call those? Creeper letters, okay? So obviously if they want points, don't give me those. Now, how many planes do I have here? 2. Okay? So what this is kind of representing is it looks like in real life this would look kind of like the floor is a plane and the wall's a plane and they're coming together. Okay? And they're intersecting in that line. So like this line right here is where they're intersecting. Okay? So think about it as a wall and the floor coming together. All these points are on the wall. All these points are on the floor. So A would be like on the intersection line, so it's on both of them. Uh-huh. Yeah, point A is on both because it's on the line that's touching both of them. Good point. Okay, good question. All right, says name the plane, supposed to say name the plane that contains points A, B, and C. So is it the top plane or the bottom plane that has those three? Top. Name it with the creeper later. It's going to be plane what? And then if I want to name with points, it's going to be plane what? A, B, C. Remember, those 3 points just cannot make a straight line. Okay. All right, number 7. First thing it says is give 2 other names for line WQ. Okay, so remember that's a line. It's got the arrows. So one thing I like to do is I'm going to highlight WQ. So that's those 2. So it's going to be this one right here. Now, if you'll notice it has dashed lines, that means it's intersecting into the plane. Okay? It'd be like if I had a piece of paper and I took my pencil and went through it. Like the dash is a part of the pencil you cannot see. It's like underneath the plane. Okay? So anytime you see dashed lines, it just means it's going through it. It says give 2 other names for this line right here. Okay? Line WQ. So what's one name I can name it?
Line G.
Line G. We can use the creeper letter. Oh, and what's another name I can name it? QW with a symbol, or I could say line QW, either one. So you just switch those letters around. Okay, pretty simple, right? Now the next thing says name 3 points that are collinear. Then name a 4th point that is not collinear with these 3 points. So collinear means they're on the same line. Give me 3 points that are on the same line. Points R, Q, S. Then tell me a point that is not on it. Point T. What's another one? W. Okay. Yeah, you could either say point T or point W. All right, so on this example, what you're going to do, it says here on the first one, what is another name for segment BD? Notice the line, the symbol above BD doesn't have arrows, so it's talking about segment. So it's talking about, if we were to highlight it, it would be from B only to D. It doesn't go on forever. It stops at those 2 points. So what's another name for that? Okay. So if we wrote BD again, it's going to be the same thing. So what we have to do is just flip the letters. DB with the symbol. That's another name for it. Okay. The next one says, what's another name for ray AE? So remember, the first letter is the letter that is the starting point. So it starts at A, goes through E, and goes on forever. Okay. So what we have to do on this one is, like I said, we know that A is the starting point, and it's another name for it. So we're still talking about the same ray. So we have to have the same starting point. If it's going to be the same ray, it's got to have the same starting point. So we know it's going to be A, but we need to see it passes through E, but they already use E. So we need to look at the next point that it passes through, and it's C. Okay, so it starts at A and it goes through C, and that's still talking about the same ray. So it's ray AC. Now it says name 2 pairs of opposite rays, and I'm going to clean this up just because it's just so I can highlight a little more. Okay. So remember, an opposite ray is going to look like a line, but it's going to have 3 points, and we start with that middle point. So like I can start with point E, and I can go that way, and then I can start with point E, and I can go that way. And that's going to be ray E, whoops, I'm going to do the same color. It's going to be ray EB because it starts here and goes that way. And I can do ray ED because it starts there and goes that way. Okay, now that's 1 pair. It says 2 pairs. So remember, each pair has 2 in it. If I have 1 pair of shoes, I have 2 shoes. If I have 2 pairs of shoes, I have 4 total shoes. So I need I need another set of rays. So I'm going to start with E, and I'm going to go that way. That's EC. I'm going to go E and go that way. And that's going to be EA. And there's my now 2 pairs of opposite rays.